Hear the toll of the bell, kept fighting for 6 months in hell. As the war rages on, they fight at the edge of the Argonne. So that was a little bit of Sabaton before we start. That line is from Hellfighters, from their newest album, The War to End All Wars. But today is August 17th, and that means I have been unemployed for 6 months. I have officially been unemployed for half a year when you guys see this. I can now reapply to get my job back at Walmart, but I'm going to choose to not do that. They can keep the position because I don't give a fuck anymore. I stopped giving a fuck before I was even fired. I might not have phone service again. I may be indebted to my old car insurance. I may have expired tags on a once again dead car that once it's jump-started is gonna need gas, and I may constantly be at a shortage of food, and I may need to work completely for free for the first month when I am once again re-employed. But I'd rather be poor as fuck and have no job than be poor as fuck and have a shitty job. I've done my post-fire rantings, I've talked about how the Department of Labor of the state of Kansas has left me for dead, and I've talked about the other ways Walmart has wronged its associates, current and former. But today I'm going to rant specifically on the financial ruin I've had to face over the past 6 months and how minimum wage workers are pretty much working for free. To start things off, I started paying for my own phone data service in October 2020, and back then I was paying $60 a month for the service. Do you know how much I'm paying now? I'm paying $100 a month for the service. For someone making minimum wage, which is likely what I would be making right now if I never made the mistake of applying for a job at Walmart, for someone like me who is making somewhere in the neighborhood of $700 a month, $100 is roughly 14% of my monthly paycheck. That might not sound real awful, but the car insurance I was with when my money ran out was asking for another $100 a month. Now luckily we were able to get on free rent when I got fired, but car insurance companies and data carriers have hiked prices tremendously over the past couple of years. I've never purchased a single upgrade, no attachments or premiums or anything of that nature. My share of the rent was $300 a month. So let's say you get paid once every month. You get your paycheck and it's $700. You owe $500 to pay your car insurance, phone bill, and rent, leaving you with $200 for food and resources such as soap, shampoo, lotion, bug spray, which I get you don't really buy bug spray and lotion all that often, but that's besides the point. You still have to replace it at some point. Deodorant, chapstick, toilet paper, trash bags, plasticware such as forks, spoons, and knives, batteries, laundry detergent, paper plates, toothpaste, floss. I try to argue things in a way that even the ANCAPs can understand, because you need food to survive. That's just a given. You need soap, you need shampoo because you can't just not shower, lotion because everyone gets dry hands, same with chapstick because everyone gets dry lips sometimes. I guess depending on where you live, you might not even need insect spray, but mosquitoes and shit get bad in the summer in Kansas. Deodorant because you can't just go around smelling like onions. Toilet paper because you gotta wipe your ass. I mean, come on. Toothpaste and floss because if you don't brush your teeth, not only is your breath going to smell like Satan's ass crack, but you're going to start getting cavities and eventually go scurvy. And I am a hypochondriac when it comes to dental care. You can't just go without brushing your teeth. That's ridiculous. Heresy. And to redistribute $200 between all of that, and across the span of a month. Imagine working for a deli that is regarded as having some of the best food in town, and only getting paid the federal minimum wage of $7.25 per hour, and getting just less than 30 hours a week, because your employer doesn't want to make anyone full-time. When you get done paying your bills, there is hardly any money left over for you to spend how you want. It's not a matter of you need to cut back on spending, it's a matter of you need to be getting paid more, especially when you turn out some of the best food in town. That's how I had it. For 2 years. At least then, my phone bill was a little less expensive, but by how much? $20? Keep in mind, we didn't even start getting food stamps until I was out of a job. Might that have been the only thing keeping us from receiving food stamps? I say that when it's kind of ridiculous that we even need to go on government assistance just to meet our needs. The problem is especially bad when I can be pulling the same kind of hours at $14.50 an hour pay, and still dip into a negative balance. That said, I was the one doing most of the shopping when I was working at Walmart, or so it's felt, and I've seen how companies gouge the shit out of their prices. It is cheaper to buy a 6-pack of bottled soda in the beverage section than it is to buy just one bottle up at the front. And we're talking the single bottle of soda is just as big as the bottle from the 6-pack. The single bottle is like $2 when the 6-pack is about $4 or $5. Spread across 6 bottles of soda is not even $1 per soda. How many companies do this and aren't even hard up for profits? Why is one bottle of, say, mouthwash more expensive than a knockoff brand of the same size? How does that make any sense? In school, the question was presented to us like 1 liter of soda is twice the price of an 800ml bottle of soda. Which one is cheaper? The real question, ladies and gentlemen, is how can a company be so fucking brazen to blatantly gouge their prices like that? My point being, this is one of the many issues minimum wage workers have to face when they do their grocery shopping. They have to worry about how they're being screwed over by one company that gouges prices versus another who either knows better or does it at such a minimal rate that they're the cheapest brand in the entire store. Speaking of getting screwed over, because minimum wage workers don't get paid once every month, and because obviously the 2 or 3 mega meals you bought with the remainder of your paycheck that wasn't the 1 24-pack of soda and soap and shit isn't going to last you the entire month, grocery shopping obviously gets in the way of bills. And what happens when you don't pay the bills? Well, a number of things can happen. If you don't pay your car insurance, that gets suspended, so when you get pulled over or get into a wreck, you either get jail time or you land yourself in a massive amount of debt. Like, isn't that swell? It's basically illegal to not have car insurance. If you can't pay your phone bill, they either charge you extra or they cut it off, or both. And if you can't pay your rent, well, you get thrown out. But basically, it boils down to you get punished for being poor. You get punished for being human and needing food. And because you don't really have much of a way to access food other than buying it, you get fucked over for making sure your nutritional needs are met. Minimum wage workers might as well just tell their bosses to pay directly to their phone service provider, their car insurance provider, and their landlords. How many people have to live like this, and for how much longer are they going to need to live like this until the feds finally pass a new minimum wage? The Fight for $15 campaign was first started 10 years ago. $15 in 2012, adjusted for inflation, would be almost $20 in today's money. The minimum wage in 1970 was $1.60 per hour. Adjusted for inflation would be $12 in today's money. With the changes in productivity that have happened over the past 52 years, the minimum wage should probably be much higher than $12 an hour right now. So why isn't it? Why is the US government not only so laid back with changing the minimum wage, but defiant against the prospect of raising it? Especially when the quality of the minimum wage used to be almost $5 better. They say they'll raise it by 2025. Why wait that long? Are you joking? It's already to the point that unemployment benefits are better than minimum wage, and that the fight for $15 should now be the fight for $20. With how awful inflation has been this year, I don't even want to know what it'll be like in 3 years. We might as well not raise the minimum wage if the process and execution is going to take 3 fucking years. The wage should be changed every year, not every century. The minimum wage should undergo yearly changes to adjust for inflation, and if the government and corporations don't like that deal, they need to put a leash on the hellhound that is inflation. And they need to crack down hard on price gouging. Really, wages need to be adjusted so that a family only needs one source of income. And there's a fork in the road when we come to how we approach that. There are more unemployed people in this country than there are jobs to fill. So what we need to do is either reduce full-time status to $20 per week so companies can hire more people and raise the wage to $40 an hour, or we need to bring in more businesses and have businesses that are here expand their operations. And we can call that the 20-40 and 40-20 approaches to work reform. 20 hours for full-time on a minimum wage of $40 an hour, or 40 hours for full-time on a minimum wage of $20 an hour. Obviously, these will eventually need to change and become 20-60 and 40-30. Which industry in this country is the least developed? What do we need the most? Is it manufacturing? Build more factories. Is it farming? Find suitable land and build more farms. Is it, by chance, retail? Build more stores. Regardless of which industry we need to build up, we need to make sure that we are treating employees as humans. And in doing so, they need to be paid a wage on which they can survive. And that motivates them to engage in long-term employment. Treat them like adults. Don't tell them they can't converse with other associates. And don't snap at them when they use their phone for whatever reason they might have. For all you know, a family emergency just popped up. Let them work the way they want to, and at a pace they are comfortable with. Team leads that get shitty with associates over small things are not fit to lead, and there needs to be a vetting process instead of just letting any power-hungry strongman dictator be allowed to call themselves supervisor or manager or whatever. And finally, abolish 39-hour contracts. Cease that nonsense immediately. If you don't want to give your employees health benefits and pensions, pay them more so they can afford their own. That's the answer to the labor shortage. Not child labor, work reform. And also, we need to pay department store employees more based on previous retail experience, as well as experience in other departments, instead of keep them at minimum wage for 2 years, during which time you put them through deli, meat, and stocking. Those are the 3 departments I worked at in my old store. Starting wage $7.25 an hour, end wage $7.25 an hour. At the same time, though, staff your departments properly and don't run skeleton crews. Don't just assume that the people that graduate to department stores after years of working in specialty are able to maintain multiple departments. That's something I had happen to me when I was a meat department associate because someone in deli wasn't showing up for work. They extended my shift because I was the only person that could fill in. Sucked. Honestly, I don't think anyone below the age of 18 should have to work. Do with that what you will, but when I see 16, 17-year-olds working summer jobs in between school years or nights during the school year, I just think their families aren't well off financially. Because when I was 15, 16 working part-time as a receiving associate for Sears, my parents were needing to borrow some of the money from me, and I only made $100 or so a week, so it wasn't even good money. And there is a possibility that they use that money for purposes that weren't in the vein of keeping us fed, clean, and sheltered, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But kids as young as 12, let alone 16, should not need to work. There have been stories surfacing that fast food restaurants have been hiring 14-year-olds. Recently, Camelot 331 exposed Hyundai factories for using 12-year-olds for their labor. No, it's bad enough that minimum wage workers still owe money or can't afford food when they get paid. We should never have let it get to the point that a family needs two sources of income, the patriarch and matriarch. Now a family needs three, the third one being the kid. Retail in particular should eliminate the customer is always right mantra, because as we see on a day-to-day basis, this enables customers to mistreat the employees and throw tantrums when they can't get their way. Any business that works with the public needs a membership program that people apply for to be able to shop there. And once they pitch a fit or are just an all-around dickhead to the employees, they're caught sexually harassing people or are caught stealing, they get their membership revoked. Also, if we need to build up the retail industry, let's focus mainly on specialty stores so that way we can hire employees that actually know what they're doing and are experts on whatever it is you're selling. A customer interaction from Walmart that I left out of the nuclear winter video was I was stocking snacks, right? A guy comes up to me about a half hour before closing, asking me if I knew where the aerosol spray was located. And I'll just be honest, as I was with this guy, I don't know what aerosol spray is. First I told him the automotive section might have it, but as it turns out, it's a hardware item. It's located in the same section of the store as paint. And he gave me the most "are you dumb" look ever. And that was pretty much the end of it. But here's the deal, alright? I might be the idiot for not landing in as many situations where I need aerosol spray as I probably should, but we have to admit that either this guy is a fool for asking some guy that's stocking and zoning the snack section to locate the aerosol spray, or we have to admit that the prospect of department stores is too ambitious for its own good. And thus a bad idea, because then you get customers like that guy that wander around looking for an associate until they end up clear across the store from where they should be, and you also get assholes for bosses that just want to make money and look down on the entry-level workers like they're the scum of the earth. Really, if you ask me, I think the workers should collectively own the workplace. The workers should get to reap what they sow. Some workplaces have experimented with not siphoning off surplus value, and we have seen that small pizza parlors were able to pay their workers upwards of $70 an hour. So that just further begs the question of why are billion-dollar corporations paying only $7 an hour, especially if a $1 million local business can do $70 if they turn off the surplus value switch for a day. We should eliminate team lead positions, or at the very least, stop giving them an absolute command over associates. Bosses should fill more of a guidance role and less of a commanding role, and actually reward hard work. Furthermore, we should work on forming a society that doesn't punish people for not having any money, but helps people when they're struggling. Instead of charge late fees, data and insurance providers should maybe make the bill less expensive. Stop cutting people off at their knees, quit throwing people to the wolves when they can't pay, maybe see if you can cover it. My father lent me $20 so I could do some shopping recently, so I could buy some frozen burritos, and I was 51 cents off from the total. And the cashier covered it for me, so that was really cool. There's no reason that a company like Verizon that makes $70–80 billion in profit every year can't cover for a few people that are struggling financially. We're not asking for handouts, we just need help. A lot of us aren't in the best place right now. We're just asking you to put people over profits. A lot of us are being left for dead in the aftermath of COVID, and we're feeling resentment unlike anything we've ever experienced. The Red Scare is an irrational fear when what we're really going through is a relapse to the Gilded Age. We need a new labor movement. I say push for work reform, but the curse of capitalism is that no matter how much effort we put into reform, workers' rights will always erode eventually. The reforms that were implemented during the 20th century have fallen through due to wage stagnation despite increased productivity and inflation, as well as employers tightening their grip on the lives of their associates, worker mistreatment, sexual misconduct in the workplace, hazardous working conditions, a lack of hazard pay for those working in extreme weather conditions and other dangerous circumstances, disgusting avoidance of paying out workers' comp, maternity leave, overtime, vacation pay, and sick pay, the deceitfulness of employers wherein associates are fired for being lied to about various things, and when push comes to shove and the fired associate files for unemployment benefits, employers will lie to the Department of Labor as to how the associate was fired to avoid having to pay out unemployment insurance over working employees, and in the end, corporations paying politicians to sweep these grievances under the rug. Mega corporations treat their employees as interchangeable cogs. We should treat capitalism and other forms of economic systems in the same manner. I believe that the only way the working people can overcome the curse of capitalism is if we install a socialist dictatorship of the proletariat, as in a government ran by and for the working people. Whether we achieve that through referendum or revolution is its own story. Ladies and gentlemen, before I sign off, an update on my job search. As of late July, I have a business trying to reach out for me to set up an interview date. Luckily, it isn't retail. There was a a point this past month where I was getting so desperate that I would have taken my old job back if they were looking for any stalkers. They were only looking for deli, so I took that information and did nothing with it, but I might be getting a job working as a custodian. I don't know what the pay is, but something's better than nothing at this point. Of course, fucking Verizon, my data service provider, is cutting off my service and preventing me from taking calls. And with how much their bill runs me, nobody's got any money to help me out with that. So thanks, Verizon. How do you expect me to pay the bill if I don't have a job? How do you expect me to get a job if I can't fucking take calls?
You shitting me?
So that's one of the many obstacles that has plagued my job search. Another one is those scam job listings that just sign you up for some weird listing or text message alert. I once had a guy call me up asking to confirm if I was registered with one of those things, and yeah, he sounded Indian. So obviously I hung up immediately and lamented at the fact that I was likely stuck working at Walmart with my asshole coworkers and asshole bosses and tedious horseshit job that the supervisors would constantly complain wasn't done good enough or fast enough. Qualifications, obviously I can't work as a truck driver, and nor would I want to even if I did have a commercial driver's license. Stress level, I kind of want to have my own life instead of work 80 hours a week as a team lead because that's all that's in this town besides truck driver. And of course you have the minimum wage jobs when it's like I'm trying to just not do this. I want to make enough money to be able to survive. Why that's gotta be so much to ask for, I'll never understand. Just pay your workers, man. It's been almost 15 years since that thing was last updated. Inflation has gone up, prices have gone up with everything. Compensate your workers for fuck's sake. But finally, I was able to find something that isn't retail, isn't minimum wage, and it exists. It's stupid that I have to marvel at the fact that the job is actually there. And it sounds like an alright job. I might have to clean shit off the bathroom walls, but whatever's paying for my next meal, I guess. Or sorry, whatever's paying for my next bill. To these money-hungry motherfuckers, so that way I can have a functioning phone and not just a glorified iPod. And also so I can get my car tags renewed and not get pulled over and ticketed for having expired tags. Great. That's more fucking money to pay, because Walmart fucking ruined me. Okay, well, update on that situation. This segment is being recorded on August 4th, and they found someone else to fill that position. So yeah. So that kinda got my hopes up. But I just hope the DOL and everyone that's hounding me for money right now has this on their conscience. A satisfactory medium between minimum wage retail slave labor and the jobs that require degrees, CDLs, and other special certifications is practically non-existent where I live. And it's about to get real bad because I don't know how much longer my dad is going to be able to collect unemployment benefits, and I don't know how much longer we'll be able to freeload courtesy of our landlord being my grand aunt. For all I know, in a few months' time I could be setting up camp by the river and be hunting fish and deer for food. And either walking or train hopping to get to where I need to go. A hunter-gatherer is what capitalism is going to reduce me to. But as long as I'm alive and as long as I have Wi-Fi, even if it's McDonald's Wi-Fi, I will not stop ranting until I am reemployed and with a company that sees me as more than just a robotic serf and is doing more for me than just paying my phone bill and car insurance and whatever the hell else I might owe money to. But you know, hopefully I'll make it out of this and I'll be able to look back on this saga in my life and think, man, what a dark time. But I hope you guys enjoyed my little speech. If you did, please be sure to click thumbs up, share the video far and wide, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Are you a minimum wage worker? What horror stories do you have from your struggle for survival? Did my video inspire you in any way to campaign for work reform? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. I'm trying to make it a monthly tradition on this channel where on the 17th I'll talk about the plight of the working class, what I'm going through in regards to my financial situation, the job search, the whole shebang. So if you're into that, go ahead and click the bell so you can get notified right when I post a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Bye guys.